you open as we proceed now. So today, this morning, we are going to be dwelling on a different topic titled Unending Life with God. Can you say that?
Unending life with God.
Unending life with God. Unending life with God. If you have to use a word to qualify that, what I've just given to you now, which word will you use? Unending life with God. What comes to your mind? Unending.
Heaven? I don't know.
Yes, just a word. Timile, can you use a word for that? Unending life with God. Yes, about to try. Yes. I think you should unmute yourself, Timmy. I really want to hear you. Yes, unending life with God. What was that? What comes to your mind? Yeah, when you hear the word unending life with God, what comes to your mind? What do you think we want to talk about? Sheyi? Yes, can you tell me anything about that? Unending life with God. It's a very familiar topic. Yes, yeah.
Life after like the second coming of Christ.
There's life after death, life after death. So if you're going to use a word to qualify that, you say resurrection. What did I say? Resurrection, yes. We are going to be treating now resurrection in Christian context. So the first I want us to find out actually, what is your understanding of the word resurrection? What comes when we say resurrection? What is resurrection? Can anybody attempt that? What is resurrection?
So when after you die on earth,
yeah,
God takes you up to heaven, I guess. Yeah.
When one dies, God takes the person to heaven. So that's resurrection. Okay, that's very good. Let me hear from Sheyi. Now, Sheyi, can I hear from you also? What's your understanding of the word resurrection?
When God brings you back to life.
When God brings one back to life. In what form?
I don't know.
You don't know. Okay, now let me hear. Timmy. Hello, Timmy. Hello. Yeah. So that's a student try to join us in the class, saying it's being muted. But nevertheless, let's continue. So I'm listening to you, Timmy. What's your understanding of the word resurrection? What? Speak up, speak up. I'm listening to you.
When someone
I think your system is from treating, or there is interference there. Okay, now let me quickly give you a little breakdown about it. Then we continue for the sake of time. You see, I thank you, Batoto and Sheyi. You attempted the definition, but let me just add one or two things to it. When you hear the word restoration, it simply means restoration. Restoration. That is giving life to a dead being. When a human is certified dead by the physician, or any man or woman that is aware, and the things, all hope is gone, either someone walks in, or there is a move of the spirit, and suddenly the person jumps up again and start talking and walking. What just happened then, what I just described now, is what is referred to as resurrection. It means the person has resurrected from the dead. So if you have to give it a definition, restoration simply means restoration of life to someone who has been certified dead. Resurrection simply means restoration of life to someone who has been certified dead. Do you understand that? Hello? Are you with me now? So we're going to see the concept of the church at Corinth, their opinion about it, and the teaching Paul actually gives to them. You know, we've talked about resurrection before. We discussed the resurrection of Lazarus when Jesus Christ went to Bethany and he called Lazarus from the grave. We've equally seen the issue of the widow. The widow. But now let's see quickly. So another view of it is so some current beliefs or Corinthian believers view resurrection of the dead as unreal. The church at Corinth, they were just like the Sadducees. They do not believe in resurrection. When say somebody dies and he resurrected, they don't believe in it. They said it's not real. So Paul decided to throw one or two more lights or give a write-up concerning it. And is that write-up today we will be...
So I'm not sure.
No, just say something. Just say something. I think there's something you want to tell us. He appeared to somebody. I quite agree. Just try and remember. That's the essence of the class, please. Because there's something. Yes.
So I'm coming. Let me think.
Okay. While you are thinking, Jocelyn, can you tell us anything? Any group of persons he appeared to after his resurrection? Yes, I'm
Mary Magdalene.
Mary Magdalene and other women, okay, who actually visited the sepulchre where he was buried. Fine. Now let me hear from you also, Sheyi. Can you remember? That's just
I just said that.
You just said that. Thank you very much. What about Justin? Justin, what about you?
So I'm not sure.
Yeah, but let me hear what you have in mind. These are GSS2 work. It's a revision on it. So have that at the back of your mind. When he resurrected, he showed himself to Mary Magdalene and other women who actually came for, and he said, go and tell my disciples to wait for me at Galilee. I will meet them at Galilee. Now, yes, somebody else tell me, he appeared to other group of people. Who were they?
He appeared to a man, like two men that were walking to Jerusalem or something like that.
Or going on their way to Emmaus. Thank you very much. That we're traveling to a nearby city, Emmaus, okay? That's very good. That was another point he made known to them, that if you do not believe, when Christ died on the third day after he resurrected, he made himself known to the disciples, to the people traveling to Emmaus, and several times he appeared. Then he concluded by saying, he equally appeared to him, Paul, on his way to Damascus. Have that at the back of your mind. These were proofs. People don't believe in resurrection, and he's trying to give them proof that there's something called resurrection. Do you understand that? That's what we are just discussing. Then the next thing, they say Christ died and was buried and resurrected on the third day. After that, he made himself known to people, showed himself to those going out, even to Peter, few of his disciples. Even he went to Thomas. He said, Thomas, touch the hollows of my palm. He made all this point known to the church at Corinth. He said, even me, you are seeing Paul. He appeared to me on my way to Damascus. Then he went forth to make another point. He said, if there is no resurrection, the preaching of the gospel, the preaching of the apostles, that is the gospel that is being preached by the apostles, and the faith of the Christian is of no use. This is the area I'm actually going to. Look, what makes Christianity, I want to say, for the sake of the class, I use the word as a religion, because Christianity actually is not a religion, it's a way of life. What makes it different from other religion or other ways of life is the belief in resurrection, belief in life after death. It's quite different from reincarnation. It's not reincarnation. It's the restoration of life back to one that has been certified dead. So when a Christian dies and he's buried, fine. If the trumpet sound, according to teaching of Paul, the mortal that was buried is going to be put on immortality, because we will not live in this present state. We are going to leave this surface of the earth with a different body. The mortal will put on what? Immortality. That's what Paul was telling them. So if you think there is no resurrection, it means the Christian faith, the preaching of the apostles is in vain. Why are we then preaching? What is life all about? So in your examination, your examiner might likely want to ask you, is death an end in itself or a means to an end? Yes, who can answer that question now? Is death an end in itself or a means to an end?
Means to an end.
It's a means to an end. Can you explain that?
It's like, so I'm not sure how to explain it.
But you have an idea. And is that idea of yours?
Death is not really death.
It's not really what?
Death is not really death.
Death is not really death. What is it if it's not really death?
Like moving on to another stage in life.
I can't get that point you just made.
Moving on to another stage in life.
Moving on to, if you use the word moving on to another stage in life, is as if you are not seeing the work that was done by Christ, because he says when a life is certified dead, that means the body becomes lifeless. Do you understand that? And when the
Yes.
body becomes lifeless, it's useless. And suddenly life restored back to such a life, to such a body. That is resurrection. Okay, that is resurrection. Now, if you say resurrection, death is not an end in itself, but it means to an end. Fine. The only way I think we can explain that is this: it means when somebody dies, the death of that person is not the end of everything. If he's a Christian, it means there is a transition. That is why if you look at those obituary adverts, you see some people will put transition unto glory. It's faith. It's true faith. They are doing that transition unto glory. Meaning, according to Jesus, he didn't even use the word death in the case of Lazarus. He said, Lazarus, our friend, is asleep. Let us go and wake him. You know, that was the language he used. He said, Lazarus, our friend, is asleep. Let us go and wake him. So when the disciples said, if he's asleep, he will wake up himself. That's what they told him. He will wake up himself. When they discovered that they lacked the understanding of what he was talking about, he now used the terminology they understand. That's why he told them that Lazarus is dead. Let's go and wake him. So to a Christian mind, Christians don't die. They only sleep, go to bed. When the trumpet sounds, they resurrect. They come back to life with a new body. So he went for that to argue with them. Actually, we will see it as form of argument, but actually he was proving to the church at Corinth that there is resurrection. That there is resurrection. He needed not to do that with the Philistines, with the Pharisees, because the Pharisees already have the concept of resurrection, but he needed to do it with the Gentiles, the Gentile Christians who do not actually believe in resurrection. Told them how Christ resurrected from the grave. Then he made a very big, a valid point. If there is no resurrection, the faith of the Christians is just in vain. It means we are preaching in vain, we are doing good things in vain. It's because of resurrection, because of the life we are going to live again, that we are doing all these things. We told them whether they believe it or not, there is an incontestable fact, an undeniable fact. Jesus Christ died and he rose from the dead. And permit me to say this, among the 11 founders of the world religion, take note of this, among the 11 founders of the world religion, only Jesus Christ died and resurrected. Only Jesus. Prophet Muhammad is the founder of Islamic religion. He died. He's buried in Mecca. Oshofa founded CCC. Oshofa died. He's buried at the Akoyo in Lagos. I don't know that. Look out for all the founders of other religions. You discover that they died. Most religions that are involved from the Semitic region, they were equally buried there. But Jesus Christ on the third day, he resurrected. And when he resurrected, he made himself known. He showed himself up to others. So he was teaching them this for them to believe that as a Christian, when they die, there is another life for them. Some people might have asked him, take note of this. This is where your jetty comes from. He said, now, they've seen that when they buried their loved one those days we come across the concept of sepulchre. Actually, it means the same thing as tomb. Just like what we see in our present day life. When you beautify the tomb, you use marble inside, you decorate it. Some people even put lifts now inside. They put an elevator inside the grave, inside the tomb. So that when you press a button, the embalmed body will come up. So for some years, the body will not decay. But there are some, after 3 days, they get decayed. Maggot comes out. They're not asking, in which form, since this body that they are buried normally suffers, go back to the dust, get decayed, eaten up by worm, in which form would they now what? Resurrect. So when they asked him that question, he answered them spiritually. He answered, he said, it is going to be in the spiritual body. He said, transcendented, imperishable. The body we are going to resurrect with is a body that cannot what? Die again. That's why I said, mortal we put on immortality. You understand that? The mortal we put on immortality. Imperishable body. Okay? So that these are the things I want you to know, that is expected of us to know concerning unending life with Christ. So if your examiner now asks you to prove or give further signs that there is actually life after death or there is resurrection, you simply narrate the story of the resurrection of Lazarus. You narrate that, which is clear that actually Lazarus died and was buried. For 4 days he was in the grave before Jesus Christ visited Bethany. And when he got there, Martha wept, fell down and wept and said, Lord, if you were here, my brother wouldn't have died. But I know whatever you ask your Father in heaven, he will do for you. Jesus Christ asked a simple question, but do you believe? He said, I believe you are the Son of God. He said, do you believe? He said, I believe you are the Son of God. He said, if you believe, you will see the grace, the glory of God. Say your brother will live again. At that point, Martha went in to inform Mary, the master is here. Another word they use for the master, the rabbi, meaning teacher. The teacher is here. Mary came out also. She fell down, was crying with the mourners that were with her. As she was weeping, Mary repeated the same statement the sister made. If you were here, my brother wouldn't have died. As they were weeping, Jesus wept. And the people around the son, they didn't know what was going on. They said, see how he loved them. The teacher also is weeping. Then Jesus Christ now said, take me to where he is laid. He said, Master, it's since 4 days, he's been buried. He would have been smelling. I said, take me there. When they got to the tomb, he said, roll away. Use that word, roll away the stone. You know, they hewn the rock then. That's what the Jews do to bury. Say, roll away the stone. They say it will be smelling by now. Say, immediately they rolled away. He knelt down, he lifted up his hands towards heaven. He said, Father, I thank you because you hear me always. For the sake of these ones that are here, again, glorify yourself. Then he said, Lazarus. He cried out, Lazarus, come forth. Lazarus came out from the grave. Then he said, untie him, loose him of the graving clothes. So you narrate that. That's just an example from the Christian background that there is life after death. Then if you want to portray that further, you go back to the scene of the death of Jesus on the cross. Remember that when Christ died on the cross, he said it is finished. The Bible said there was darkness all over. And the graves in Jerusalem opened. The saints that were dead, they resurrected, and men saw them with their naked eye. That also is a proof that there is what? Resurrection. You understand that? Then if you are looking for a life resurrection in Nigeria, tell them that Prophet Moses Orimolade of Ekiti State, the founder of White Garment Church, Prophet Moses Orimolade, he's from Ekiti State. He brought the dead back to life through the power of the Holy Spirit. And they asked, what's the name of the person? Christiana Abiodun is the name of that lady that was brought to life. Then if you want to move further, talk about what happens in Pentecostal churches. Although many do not believe in it, I do. Archbishop Benson Idahosa, the late Archbishop Benson Idahosa, the first miracle he performed in Benin was bringing the dead back to life. Thank you very much. So these are proof for us to tell others, or to tell the current, or to tell the unbelieving Christians that there is life after death, that we are not, death is not an end in itself, but a means to an end. Thank you. Any question? Hello? I hope you are still with me.
Yes, sir.
Yes, any question?
Yes, sir.
Yes, can I hear your, can I hear your question now?
So I don't have.
Yes, let me hear your question. I want to hear your question because this topic we are treating is very important. Why? They pay attention to it, okay? They don't play with it. And I don't want to touch the significance now because in every question you open in your wife, past questions, you come across the concept of resurrection, the significance of resurrection. Without resurrection, Christianity is just an ordinary religion. It's resurrection that actually makes it what it is. Now, ask your questions. If no question, I'll ask my question. Remember that next week we'll be having our test. Yes, any question today? Hello? Shay, yes, Shay, any question?
No, sir.
Yes, sir. Timile, any question? If no question, now look at this. Go to 1 Corinthians 15, 1 to 58. 1 Corinthians 15, 1 to 58. I decided to keep this portion of the scripture till this moment to enable me discuss this with you, the proofs, before going there to read it for time's sake also. So when we meet, I want you to go through this, 1 Corinthians 15, 1 to 58. Go through it. When I come, that's where I'm going to pick your questions from. I'm going to ask you to give me 2 or 3 proof that actually there is the resurrection of the dead. And you will do that for me. Then after that, we'll treat the significance of Christ's resurrection. Timmy, I'm waiting for your question, please. Timmy.
So I don't have any.
You said there's no question? Okay, now if there's no question, who can quickly summarize what we'll be doing since? Let me start from Obatutu. Obatutu, just give me what you gained so far. Let me hear from you now. Unending life with God, resurrection.
I learned that tell me you should go somebody else. I'll come back.
Where are you going to that you're coming back? Okay, let me hear from you, Jocelyn, please. Hello, Jocelyn. Jocelyn. She? Okay, now. Every one of you should turn on your video now. Please do that for me quickly. Turn on your video. Let me see your faces. It's like you are dodging my question. So if it's not clear, I can go.
Sir.
Yeah, you were not on seat. It means you were not on seat.
No, sir, I didn't go. This is acting up. I didn't
Now turn your video. Let me see your face, my friend, quickly. Timmy, you too. Quick. I want to, this is our test. We're going to take our test now quickly because I have less than 5 minutes to go. Timmy Lane, please. Yes. I want us to summarize what we've done so far. Who can do that now quickly? Obatoto says she's coming back. So let me hear from you, Sheyi.
So I don't know how to explain.
It means you were not jotting, you were not putting anything down as I was teaching. I was giving the point, you weren't saying that you weren't putting anything down. I started by giving you, after the revision of what we did last week, I gave you the definition of resurrection. So if there's nothing you can give to me, you should be able to tell me the definition, the meaning of resurrection. I said, it simply means restoring of life to someone who has been certified dead. You understand that? I expected you to have put that down. Okay? After that, ask a simple question. Say, is life, is death an end in itself? Yeah, or it means to an end.